I don't know where to start a video like this, if we're being honest. 2020's been a rough year for everybody. I don't think I need to provide proof to really make that statement true, because it is true. People look back in 2020 and go, wow, what a shitty year it was. And, I mean, I don't want you to take this as I'm having a worse year than you, but it just hasn't gotten any better for me. Just when I thought, we're going toward the holidays, everything will be better, and it really hasn't. It's gotten worse. I thought, with the way the election went, everything would be fine, and I'm still excited for like Thanksgiving and Christmas and all that, but it's gonna look a lot different than it has. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember back in August. It was actually 2 days after my birthday. 2 days. That's always gonna haunt me on my birthday now. We had to put our boxer down. Han, he was 10 years old, and he couldn't walk anymore. If he tried to, he'd get up and he'd just slip all over the place. He was panting heavily, and he just had tumor after tumor after tumor, and none of them were benign. And at that point in time, with a 10-year-old dog, you're like, it's best to just let him, go slowly and comfortably and not have to deal with all that, and then probably risk the following year or in a couple of months the same thing happening, because a boxer's life expectancy is 8 to 11. So at that point, we were just kind of like, it's time. And then I thought things would be fine from there, nothing else would happen, and I was wrong. This actually took place not this past Friday, but the Friday before the election was still going on. This was the day before it was called. I'm downstairs watching the little dog that we have now, because, you can't leave her alone for 5 minutes, or else I think she's got some sort of abandonment issue, I don't know. And the big dog's downstairs too. We still have our one boxer's daughter, but she doesn't need to be watched a lot. She just kind of does her own thing and does what an adult dog should do. And all this while my dad's working down the basement, because we're putting an addition on the house, because my other grandmother, my mom's mom, is going to be moving in very soon, because she has become very immobile, and it would just be better to have her here than to have to drive 20 minutes to her house, just in case something serious happened to her, like a fall and whatnot. It would be more comfortable knowing she's here. And dad's adding the office in the basement. We're getting the room for her up on the first floor. So dad was down in the basement knocking out walls that needed to be knocked out. My mom was upstairs cleaning, and I remember just sitting there, and we have a bathroom and a little walkway towards our entrance for my grandparents mainly. It was a handicap accessible bathroom, because both of my grandparents who live here now had strokes, and they're just, one couldn't walk, and the other one, I don't necessarily think he can walk, but my grandpa's stubborn, so he tries to make it work. And I remember my grandmother wheeling herself into the bathroom and whatnot, and she's usually fine, so I wasn't thinking anything of it. When she went in there, there was a lot of noise going on, from mom vacuuming up here to dad just hammering away downstairs at the walls to get them busted out. And I'm sitting there, and I hear this loud bang. But again, I'm sitting there thinking, oh, it's just dad hammering downstairs, because at the same time I heard that loud bang, my dad was still hammering. It wasn't like he stopped and then whatnot. And a minute or two goes by, my grandpa walks in, knocks on the door of the bathroom saying, hey, you almost done in there? And I kind of was listening at the way my grandma was talking for a little bit, because I can tell it wasn't like her. She was definitely a lot more quiet than she usually was, and it just seemed like, she had trouble speaking her words beforehand because of the stroke, but this just seemed worse. And then all of a sudden, my grandpa screamed for my dad, and in my head I'm like, okay, my grandpa's not just gonna scream like that for no reason. Something has to be wrong. My dad gets upstairs, and it turns out my grandma fell and busted her face on the ground pretty hard. She didn't hit it on the wall. She just kind of collapsed and smacked her face. Her it was not a pretty sight. It was a sight that you never think in your life that you're gonna see until you see it, and you're like, oh, I mean, wow. It's still nothing like it's like in the shows and the movies, but it was definitely a disturbing one. And, come to find out when she gets to the hospital, she had another stroke. Keep in mind, she had about three from 2008 to like 2017, and she had a heart attack in January, and, I mean, all in all, she was doing fine. So that happening really wasn't in our minds at that point in time. But I guess when you're I think, 72-year-old woman who just has all these health issues, it's not just gonna, go slowly. It'll hit you sometimes. And, she had a stroke, kidney failure, and on, I think it was last Tuesday, is when she, my dad, and my aunt, who, is my dad's sister, decided, and my grandfather obviously had a lot to play in this too, decided to just pull the plug completely. And at 12:10 p.m. on Tuesday, my grandma took her last breaths, and she's no longer on this earth. And later that day, I made a video that I was going to upload to you guys, updating you on what happened, because I think I mentioned in the last update video about what the last 2 months on this channel are going to look like. I had mentioned she was in the hospital. We don't know how it's going, and I really didn't get any updates because with the whole coronavirus thing, the only person that was really able to stay up there with her was my dad, because obviously when they took her off in the ambulance, he had to follow her up there. So after that, it kind of became like, oh, well, you can come two at a time, bring two at a time, this, that, and the other, and that's what we did, and that's how we, but I decided not to upload that video because I didn't just want it to be a video of me being a train wreck telling you guys what happened. It definitely does hurt, considering not only, but we're coming up very soon on the 6-year anniversary of my grandfather's death, my mom's dad, and that one hit me very hard. We had the dog go this year, and now my grandma. It's just, holidays, aren't going to be the same, and this is why I think toward the end of the year, every year, I take a little bit, not a break, but I slow down a little bit with content, because these last 2 months aren't particularly, it's not that they're not my favorite months, it's just that they bring back a lot of negative memories that, sometimes it's best for me to just slow down than to try to force myself to be this and whatnot. So, yeah, we didn't have a viewing or anything. It wasn't what she wanted. We just kind of had a family get-together at my Aunt Tricia's house in Maryland, and I do regret getting a little shit-faced that night, not gonna lie. I just was out of control, and I thank my cousin for being by my side that whole time, especially when I was drunk, because all I really have to say, if you're going to get drunk off your ass to the point where you know that you're going to throw up, it's best to do it at your house. That way you have your own clothes to change into, your own shower to shower in, and your own bed to lay in, and you don't have to, bathe in somebody else's shower with puke all over yourself, and you don't have to change into your uncle's clothes that barely fit, or lay in a bed that's not yours because it's just so uncomfortable. I mean, it's just, I do regret that, and I just, that's not the way you should handle that situation. I mean, we all have different ways with coping with things, but that, I don't know, I think I took that a little too overboard, and I didn't pace myself, and it made it a lot worse. Granted, I waited till later in the night to do it, because I'm smart and going, we got here at 2 p.m., I'm not going to do it now, because then I would just look like an idiot, but, it is what it is. That happened. I figured, you guys deserve the update on that after I told you pretty much what was happening at the beginning, but that's basically where we're at. I mean, I don't know what else to say. There'll still be reviews, and I do have a couple videos planning on coming out tomorrow, so really stay tuned for that, because like I said, I'm not taking a break. I just might not be uploading rapidly every week with video after video after video, but I still have reviews scheduled for Fridays, and I still have some video ideas that I want to, talk about before the year ends. But yeah, once the Christmas Day hits and the top 10 best albums of the year come out, unless there's an album that's coming out the following week, then, don't plan on me, doing something until January 2021 after that. That's going to be like my official like week break or so. But for the most part, it's going to be Wednesday and Friday still, but you may not get an upload every Wednesday or even every Friday, depending on what the review schedule looks like. But yeah, that's it, guys. Please stay safe out there. Wear your mask, please. We're only asking that little bit. And yeah, have a happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you want to call it. I don't know why I'm saying that now, because I'm going to be seeing you before those holidays again. But we're creeping up on Thanksgiving, 2 weeks away, and Christmas is pretty much right around the corner. I mean, once Thanksgiving Thursday's over, boy, I mean, people are talking about it now, but I usually wait till the Thursday after Thanksgiving to really get involved in Christmas. But yeah, that does it, guys. Catch you all in the next one.